This conference will now be recorded.
Along with that, there are a couple of personal commitments and topics that took me some. Don't mind, and probably will stand on our words from next week on, probably today and tomorrow also. And is it fine tomorrow at 7 p.m. T? 7 p.m.
Okay, sir. No problem, sir.
Okay, sir.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. Tomorrow, and probably if possible, would you mind to be there for the next day also? Like I mean to say Saturday also 7 to 9 if possible. I would like to take tomorrow and day after tomorrow also for at least 1.5 hours and 2 hours, so that we'll see what are the things which we missed in the couple of sessions last week.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. And let me share my screen. Am I sharing my screen? Hope you're able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. And
Yes, sir.
yeah, what have we discussed in the last session? Probably I forgot what we discussed. Let me check. Are we still in the agile, or we have gone through agile to
Kanban finished, sir. Kanban finished and need to start SDLC.
STLC, software testing life cycle? Okay, perfect. And okay, yeah. Yeah, probably. Thank you so much, Jyotirmay and Tejasvi. I saw your homework and it was really impressive. And we'll discuss about them in the next session or day after. Okay. But for now, in order to not to waste our time, let's go ahead and proceed further on the STLC. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sir, please explain this Kanban in a short manner. So that day technical error, I couldn't hear so much.
No problem. Let me explain you once again. Yeah. No
Okay, sir.
problem. That's fine. Thanks for asking me. Yeah. Agile and Kanban. Both are, look, sorry, not Agile. Scrum. Scrum and Kanban. Both are from the Agile methodology only. Those are parts of Agile methodology. 90% of the organizations are using either Scrum or Kanban, and very few organizations are going ahead with XP, Rubel, and a lot of things are also there. But as you know, Scrum is completely about time bound. There is a specific time bound, what need to be done, and specific roles, and it's like a iterative and incremental model. And here also we are following SDLC in V methodology, that is like development and testing perform parallelly. So all these things are mixed in the Scrum methodology. So why they come into Scrum methodology? Because there are some limitations on the iterative and incremental model, because there is no time bound. If we say like for the first module, we took around 1 week or 2 weeks of time. In order to complete the second model, if we take more than a week or more than a week or more than a month, there won't be any issue from the client, because we never said that it will be completed in a week, or we never committed that it will be completed in 10 days. So definitely there is no time bound in the iterative and incremental model. And also the roles are very high. In order to do some changes in the project, let's take, we found some issue in the design. Okay, in order to do some changes, they need a lot of hierarchy to get an approval. Like there are project managers, project lead, test manager, engineering director, engineering lead, like that. There are multiple folks and multiple hierarchy in order to do the changes. There is no certain roles are defined. In one organization, there are, let's take, only 3 to 4 roles are available. But whereas other organization might have multiple roles. So there is no specific roles defined in the iterative and incremental model. As said, SDLC, we have a V methodology, like doing development and testing parallelly. Like whenever we found any issue in the testing phase, we will report that particular issue to the development team. So development team will fix that particular issue and revert back to the testing team and say that this particular issue has been fixed, kindly retest. So we as a testers will retest the issue, and if we found that that particular issue is fixed and need not be repeatable, then we can say that we can close the issue. If not, then again we'll raise the issue and assign to the developer. So this is how the development and testing will be done parallelly. So all those things will be considered in the Scrum methodology. Okay. Whereas there are some situations, as said in the example, Kanban is another agile methodology only, but we are working on customer requests. Like there is no specific time bound client or a customer request. Very important part. Let's take, as said in the very good example, that's a very nice example. Like when we have a customer support or customer care center. Okay, whenever we get any request, then only we'll accept that request, and based on the request, we'll limit the time bound. Let's take an example. We found an issue in our mobile. We'll go to Samsung customer care executive and say that there is a problem in my mobile. What is the problem? Your mic is not working. So for this, in order to work on the mic, it may take 3 hours or 4 hours of time. Yes, that's good. For one customer request, they are taking 4 hours. Let it be. And there is another issue which we got it from the another client. He's saying that there is a problem with my screen card or a screen. So when they go ahead and they test it and they said that in order to replace the screen, it may take 2 days. That means here you need to very concentrate on the particular word based on the, again I'm stressing the word, based on the client or a customer request. You people are assigned for any work. Okay, this is normal scenario. What is the scenario in the real time? Yes, real time also there are some situations where we have a supporting team. What they will do, they will get the requests from different clients. Request means bugs, clients or a customers saying that whatever the product that you have sold to me or sold to me, so that particular product has some minor issue or some issue with that bug. Let's take, I have an issue at Windows platform for let's take TLS v1.3 authentication. Just a small bug. They said like Windows platform is not reacting or is not responding to the particular authentication mechanism. So that's an issue. Initially, what happened, we as a product-based organization, we have delivered that particular project TLS v1.3 authentication to the client. Very good. But whenever, yeah, this particular TLS v1.3 application, we said like it works in Windows platform, Linux platform, Unix, AX, Solaris, and XP. So all these things we said different platforms. So all these things we said like my project TLS 1.3 authentication mechanism will work in all these platforms. But a customer, let's say Oracle customer, he came back to us and said like, brother, whatever you delivered the project is not working on Windows, or in Windows it is taking performance very low. It is taking more time to react on another authentication mechanism. So there is an issue. That means whatever the bug that they have raised it, we as a team, we will consider or we will reserve a team to work on those kind of requests. In our SDLC, we call it as maintenance team. Did you get my point? Maintenance team. So maintenance team is specifically meant for these kind of requests only. Whereas coming to normally, right, SDLC is nothing but software development lifecycle in which we have all these scenarios like requirement analysis phase, design, development, testing, and maintenance. The maintenance team will work on Kanban model because here there are no roles how exactly the Scrum is saying like we have a product owner, Scrum master, development team. No, everybody in the customer care, everybody has to take the request and start working on it. And what is the request? Based on the customers or based on the clients, whatever they report the issues, again I'm stressing the word, whatever they report the issues, those will be considered by the maintenance team. And we will follow a Kanban board normally. Here the very important point is we don't have time bound. As an example, based on the client request, the time bound varies. As said, let's take if a customer is coming for a mic problem, it may take 2 to 3 hours only. Whereas if a customer is coming from screen replacement, it may take 4 days or 5 days. That depends upon the complexity of the issue. As said in the example, Windows platform is not at all supporting. I will analyze the issue. I mean to say the Kanban team will analyze the issue and say that it may take 3 days or 4 days. And for the analysis itself, it may take 3 days. Then they come back and say that, yeah, in order to fix the issue and test, I mean to say qualifying the issue, all these things will take another 4 days. So I can say ETA, expected time of arrival, will be 2 weeks. I can say that. For this particular issue, I can say Oracle team saying that this particular issue, as you reported this particular issue, it may take 1 week of time or 2 weeks of time to revert back. So here the very important point is no client request. I would say no one coming from the requirements perspective. Here there is no requirement. Here you are coming up with the issues, whatever the clients has been reporting. So in order to work on those kind of scenarios, we have a mechanism called Kanban. So Kanban is one of the mechanism in the agile methodology only, whereas it 90% support on the maintenance side. Like there is no time bound, there are no requirements from the client. Here always from the issues or requests from the client, what exactly they have been facing, and based on the issue or a complexity of the issue, you will prioritize the work. Let's take, we have 4 customers. All the 4 customers are reported some other issue, but you will consider who is the customer who has most value, most valuable. With that particular customer, what is the monetary benefit that my organization getting? Let's take, I have 4 customers, as said in the example. Customer 1, customer 1, customer 2, customer 3, and customer 4. So all those things are very important. They reported the issue, but we will think, yeah, we know all these issues will take some amount of time, but we will give the priority based on the customer impact on the monetary benefits for the organization. So how monetary benefits which the customer is giving, like the client is giving. Let's say customer 3 is giving more business to my organization. So I'll prioritize the work for the customer 3 and deliver it on time. And something which is there, yeah, customer 2 also, yeah, I'm not saying that I'm not giving importance to 1, 2 and 4. I will give importance, but I will think from the monetary benefits as well as from the complexity perspective. If a customer is coming with a maximum amount of complexity, I will look at the issue and prioritize it, but still I'll say that it may take 3 weeks of time or 4 weeks of time to fix the issue. So here very important point is Kanban maximum amount of time or 90% supported by the maintenance team, whereas Scrum is supported by the normal product or a project based organizations. Okay, so project based works like whenever a customer is requesting for some of the requirement or some enhancement on the existing project, so all those things will come under Scrum only. Whereas if any customer is raising some issues, or if any customer which is raising some bugs or enhancement request, whatever it is, so all those things will come into Kanban board and they will maintain from the Kanban board only. So as shown in the example, yeah, just a small pictorial representation of Kanban board. Let me take Kanban board. Yeah, images. Yeah, this is how it look like. Probably you're able to see the screen team. prioritize the backlog. That means to-do list. What need to be to do means yet to do. Okay, we are yet to do that particular list. Along with that, what is work in progress? Currently, you are working on it. Currently, work is completed. You are in testing phase, like validating it, whether the fixing is done or not, and then complete it. Okay, so everything is normally only. You can see here in the to do also, to do, in progress, testing, and done. Once it is done, we'll move the tags to, yeah, this work is done. This work is in testing phase. This working is in fixing phase. Like I'm working on this issue to fix it. To do means these are in the backlog. Means I haven't started it. I'll work on it once I get a time. Okay. I'm just pausing here. Any questions?
No, sir.
Hope you got it, Tejasvi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks for asking again. Probably we brushed up whatever we discussed here so far.
तो क्या ये पूछते हैं ये
Okay. Yeah. Let's move on to the other topic, that is SDLC. That is software testing life cycle. So very important. Why? Because so far, being a QA, we need to worry about what is the software testing life cycle. That means what is the process that we follow in order to make sure that my testing is completed. Very important thing. So SDLC, we know, right? Requirement analysis, design, development, testing, and maintenance. Out of them, we are completely relied and working on testing. The testing also, there is a life cycle. That is, a process is defined in order to work on the testing phase. What is that protocol process? Here also we have 5 phases. Okay, what are those 5 phases? First thing is test planning. We have to do test planning. Okay, and test analysis and design phase. I mean to say the way that we have been doing it. Test analysis and design phase. Okay, and the test execution and result analysis. Bug life cycle or bug analysis, and then test summary report. So these are the 5 phases of SDLC. Very important. Again, I'm telling you, because being a QA, we need to know what is the process that we are following in order to complete any testing of the project. Okay, any project that you got to know, we need to test this particular project. Then from the scratch, you need to follow these 5 phases. One is test planning, test analysis and design, test execution and result analysis, bug tracking or bug lifecycle, and then test summary report. I'll explain you one by one, but please feel free to stop me if you have any questions. And these things are, again, I'm telling you, these are very important being a tester. Okay, let me go ahead with the test plan. I'll just give you summary and then we'll go into detail when we look at the PPT. So test planning phase, as you know, the planning means what exactly you are performing as part of the testing phase. Like, what is the scope of the testing? Let's take means boundaries. What is the in scope? What are the valid values, invalid values? How many resources are required? How many resources are required for this testing? Okay, what is the environment setup? I mean to say resources, scope, budget, okay, and types of testing also. What type of testing that you are performing? Here, let's take in the planning phase, what type of testing that you are performing? Are you performing manual testing or automation testing? Okay, very good. You are performing automation. Then what about automation using QTP or Selenium? What kind of automation testing that you are performing? What is the tool that you are using it? Okay, if you are performing manual testing, what kind of manual testing that you are performing? Are you working on system testing or regression testing or integration testing or like anything like alpha, beta? There are multiple things. So you are specifying those types upfront in the test planning phase itself, saying that my plan is to test this particular project. Let's take, I want to test a project number one. In order to test the project number one, my test approach is this. What is the approach? Is nothing but what type of testing that you're performing and what is the scope. What is, you have some limitations of testing the project. You need to worry about the quality and security of the project. That's it. You are least bothered about where exactly the input is coming from, where exactly the output is going to. All those things are least bothered by the tester. If you ask you to test, let's take it. If I ask Tejasvi, can you please validate your laptop? Or can you please test your laptop? Then she has to test each and everything functionalities of the laptop, like what is the motherboard capacity, what is the RAM and screen resolution, keyboard, everything she will test it. But she doesn't require where exactly it is coming from, how exactly they are manufactured. Are they manufactured using steel or plastic? Those things are least bothered. Those are out of scope. Out of scope. Okay, okay. And where exactly I brought it? Okay, I brought it from so and so, what we call electronics showroom. Okay, where exactly this the electronic showroom got this particular laptop? Those things are least bothered by you. That's why in the test planning phase itself, scope is well defined. Are you getting my point? Scope is well defined. What need to be tested? What is your limitations of the testing? All those things are mentioned in the test planning phase. And resources. How many resources are required? Let's take, I need Firenisa, I need Jyotirmai, I need Tejaswini, everybody into the list in order to test this particular project. Okay. What is the role of each and every person? So let's take one person as a lead, and other person can guide the team. All those things they will be considered and written in the test planning phase. Test planning is a initial step of the or initial phase of the SDLC. That means starting stage. Starting of the SDLC will be done by test planning. Okay. Who will prepare this test planning documentation? Usually, if you have a team, test lead will prepare the test planning documentation. Or else, if you're following the Agile methodology, you are an individual tester, then you will write the test plan as per your expectations. What is the scope? What is the things, resources? What is the budget? And what type of testing that you are going to perform? All those things will be written in the test planning phase. Again, I'll explain you in detail in the PPT again, but just giving a glance of it. Next thing is test analysis and design. This is very important. Why I'm saying very important? In this phase only, you will start the actual work. Means to say, I need to identify test conditions. Very important. What is the test condition? In some organization they call it as test scenarios. What are the test scenarios? Let me give you. Team, please concentrate here because okay, because this is the heart of the thing. From today onwards, we'll be discussing about these things only. Okay, test condition and test scenario. I use these words very frequently. So please be very careful. What is the test condition or test scenario? Dot. See, here I am asking you to identify what are the test conditions or test scenarios of this web page. Okay, my answer should be Google logo is one test condition. Second test condition is Gmail, URL, images, and there is a search button, search box. And another thing is search by voice, search by image. And there is a button called Google search. And I'm feeling lucky. And there is a static words. That means those are standard and won't be changed. Google offered in, and there are multiple languages are there like Hindi, Bangla, Telugu, Marathi, Tamil. Okay, all these things are there. And again, Gujarati and Kannada and I don't know. Okay, and there are something like India. This is also static word, won't be changed. About, it is a URL, advertising, business, how to search. All these things are URL. That means hyperlinks. That means whenever I click on it, you will be redirected to other page, terms and settings. So if I ask you to identify test conditions, again I'm trying to stress the word test conditions or test scenarios means you need to identify high level, I'm stressing the word team, high level, what are you looking at the web page or what are you looking at this particular project? You're looking at Google as a logo and Gmail images are the hyperlinks, search button, search box, all these things are there. And Tejasvi, would you mind to say what are the test conditions of the Facebook page? What are you look and feel?
Facebook logo, sir,
Very good.
and email box, email address or phone box,
Mm-hmm.
password box, login button, forget password hyperlink URL,
Excellent.
create account button, and create a page for a celebrity or a brand business. Static word. Create a page is a hyperlink again.
Excellent.
And
Okay.
below the Facebook logo, Facebook helps you connect and share with the people in your life. Is a static word again.
Perfect. This is about test conditions. Again, what about test cases? I'll let you know. But for now, how exactly you look and feel? What are the test conditions means? High level in a project, what are you going to test? So I'm going to test Facebook logo. I'm going to test these static words. These static words are very important also. Why? Because there might be some spelling mistake or there might be something which is not relevant to this particular page. All those things will be there. Okay. That's where it is very, very important to identify. Don't forget, identify each and every scenario of the web page is very important. Then only you can write the test condition for each and every test. Sorry, you can write the test cases for each and every test condition. Let's take Facebook logo. I can write multiple test cases. For the static words, I can write multiple test cases. Email address or login page, you can write multiple. Like this, you have lot of test cases you can write it. First thing is you need to identify what are the test conditions of my project. Okay. And Farinisa, are you there? Farinisa?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. Can you please let me know what are the test conditions? Oh my God. These
Sorry?
things, a lot of things are there, right? I'm just thinking, let me write something like Walmart store. This is also a big one only, but let me think. Can you please identify what are the test conditions that you can see in this web page?
Just sir. Hello? Sir, can you hear me?
Yep. Yes, I can. Please.
Sir, there's a Walmart hyperlink, search
Perfect.
button. You can search it. Then my items, sign in account.
And you can see department services.
Yes, the department services,
Reorder
my
my
items, and sign in account.
And there is a cart box also, probably wherever
Yeah.
you check in, right? And there are a lot of things which are there in this. Yeah. Here, you should not forget about small thing also. Why? Because that may lead to give a bug. Okay. You are very, very important to identify each and every test condition of a web page. Okay. Don't forget about minor things. Are you getting my point, Farinisa?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Yeah. Jyotirmayi, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Would you mind to identify what are the test condition that you are seeing in this web page?
WhatsApp web,
Mm-hmm.
to use WhatsApp on your computer, and
Okay,
that logo, and open WhatsApp on your phone, some static words.
correct. There is some menu and all these things are static words.
Menu setting and yeah, link and
And there is a URL. Need help
needle
to get started.
URL.
Yeah, and QR code and a
QR.
video. Video means how to do this particular things, like how to work on this particular scenario. So all those things are mentioned in the video. So the important point that I want to tell you is you need to identify the first thing as test conditions or test scenarios of your project. That's your basic step or starting step of the project. Okay. Yeah, very good thing. Thank you. And the next thing is identifying test conditions and test scenarios. Write the test cases. Write the test case for each. As said in our example, let's take in the Google logo, Google page. We have a Google logo as a test condition. For these test cases would be there should be two G's available. One is in capital letter, another one is small letter. Another test case I can write it. G's are in blue color. Okay, and there are two O's. One is in red and one is in yellow color. And there is another word called L, which is in green color. And there is another word called E, which is in red color. But here, one of the like who's that in one of the team, one of my students, she wrote a test case saying that I asked her to write the test case for this Google logo. She wrote all the test cases, but one test case that was really impressed by me, that is E. She said normal E is like this, but E is different. Okay, because we need to mention the test data. I'll let you know what is that. She wrote E in a different way and said that I need to test E letter also because there might be some duplicate which has a normal Google. Let me write you like this. Like Google means like this only. E should be normally like this. But whereas if you see the logo, E is little different. She wrote the test cases for this also. That I really impressed. They say like, yeah, that's correct. That means you need to identify, you need to think in a extensive way. That means out of boundary thinking. If you're thinking like, see, there is a, let's take, I have a another sister kind of organization. I also created Google, but in the E, I just gave E. I said like, this is my logo and my organizations. Everybody will believe that because there are chances of going ahead as a duplicates. You should be very careful about each and every minute parts of your project also. As I said in the example, E should be in different way, not in normal E. If it is a normal E, then there is an error. Okay, see in a normal google.com, google.us, somewhere it is. Yeah, yeah. See, wherever you go, in E should be in different way. Okay, the logo itself is differently written. This is now in the US, right? Okay, like this, you need to understand, you need to write the test cases in an extensive, it means out of boundary way. Okay, very important. I'll let you know when we come into here. The next thing is test data. We need to identify test data for each and every test cases. What is the test data? I'll let you know. For each and every test case, you need to write a test data, like what is the input value that you are giving to test this particular test case. Let's take in our example, Facebook. The input value of the here the input value is either email ID or phone number. Here the input value is password. Here the input value is login word, forgotten password with the question mark. She mentioned question mark also as one of the test case. Why? Because there are some situations where you can see forgotten password without having a question mark. That's a duplicate one again. Okay, create an account should be in the green color. Okay, create a page, it should be in hyperlink. It should not be any normal static words. And Facebook logo should be in blue color. And another thing that they mentioned is what is the font type of the Facebook. Right, font type. It is Arial, Times New Roman. And again, what is the size of the font, like font size? Like, is it a 12, 14 or 15 length? All those things also she has mentioned. I really impressed. That means you have to think, let's say Facebook logo. Facebook logo spelling is like this and logo length is like this. It should be in blue color. The font size is this and font type is this. So all those things you should be very, very, very careful while writing the test case. That means you should not think in a normal tester way. You should think in an aggressive way. How exactly I can test this particular each and every scenario. That's very important. Okay, I'll let you know. Don't worry. Test data and test environment setup. Let me give you an example for environment. See, in order to test my Facebook.com, I need to have prerequisites. One is I need to have a system. I need to have an internet connection ready. Okay, and I need to have although we have internet connection, it has to be power connected. Okay, all those things like prerequisites. In order to run the test case, what are the prerequisites? Those things are comes under environment. Okay, test environment. What are the prerequisites in order to support this particular scenario or in order to support this test case? All those things you have to read in the test environment document, environment ready. And the last thing is RTM. It is called as requirement. There is an interview question. What is the RTM? Requirement traceability matrix. What is this? This is very important in order to find out how many test cases that you have written against how many requirements. Let's take, I have 5 requirements. For all the 5 requirements, have you written the test cases or not? Okay, in order to find out, let's take we have only 2 requirements. It's easy to find out. But if I have 10 requirements, it's little difficult to find out whether I have the test cases for each and every requirement or not. So for that reason, we have a concept called RTM. Let me show you how exactly the RTM would be. Matrix images. Yeah, you can see here. Yeah, here if you can see, probably you're able to see my screen team. Let me zoom it. Yeah, in this scenario, you can see, let's say these are the requirements. You can see business requirements. I have 5 requirements. Requirement number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For this, I have written test cases. See, test cases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 11 test cases I have written it. How can you validate? For the first requirement, I have test case number 1. Second requirement, I have test case number 2. Sorry, requirement number 1 has test case number 1, 2, 3. All these 3 test cases covers requirement number 1 only. 4 and 5 are written for test requirement number 2. 6 is written for test requirement number 3. And 7 and 8 are written for test case requirement number 4. And for the requirement number 5, I have written the test cases 9, 10 and 11. See here, there are 2 requirements which are satisfying 1 test case. That's fine. You only the intention of this RTM is you are trying to find whether I have written, very important point, very important, please careful, whether I have written the test cases for each and every requirement or not. Okay, if I miss this, definitely there is a miss in the testing itself. So that's very important because you need to write the test cases for each and every requirement. This is how it will look like. Like they'll calculate based on the how exactly it is. I'll show you. And let me take another example. where you can find what is the missing. Okay, and here is another one, and yeah. Mm, mm, mm. You can write in any manner. You can say requirement traceability matrix. You can write in any way. Okay, either it may be requirements at the right side or requirements at the left side. That's up to none of us can see here. Yeah, I can see here. Requirement number 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 10 requirements. Out of them, how many test cases? I have only 10 test cases. See, there is a test case number 6, which doesn't have any requirement. Are you getting my point here, team? I'm just pausing here. Any questions on RTM before I'm explaining again?
No, sir.
See,
No, sir.
yeah, perfect. My project has 10 requirements, team. Out of them, I have written 10 test cases. In this Excel sheet, I'm marking each and everything. Okay, I have written test case number 1 for requirement number 1, test case number 2 for requirement number 2, test case number 3 for requirement number 4, test case number 6 for 4 for requirement number 6. For 7, I have test case number 7. For 8, I have test case number 5 and 9 also. For 9th requirement, I have 8 test case. For 10, I have the test case number 4. Very good. This is how I have written the test case. Very good. Now, what is the mistake here? I need to identify. Okay, there is a test case number 6. Why it is? It doesn't mean for any requirement. Then I'll remove the test case number 6 and test case number 10 also. Why? Because those two are not relevant to my project. I've written the test cases, but those two are not relevant. I'll remove it. Again, there is no test case that I have written for requirement number 3. Please write the test case, sir. Okay, very good. And there is no test case for requirement number 5. Please do write down. And I can see all the test cases. 6 has, 7 has, 8 have, 9 have, and 10 also have. Only thing is requirement number 3, requirement number 5 are missing test cases. In order to identify what is missing for each and every requirement against the test cases, this is very important. Are you getting my point, team? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So these are the 5 different things which we will do in the test analysis and design phase. Sorry, any question? Okay, if not, let's go on to the PPT. Let me explain these 2 things. Then we'll go ahead with the test execution. Yeah, hope you're able to see my screen. SDLC, yeah, yes, said test planning, test analysis and design, test execution and result analysis, bug tracking, and test summary report. Yeah, you can see here. So these are the 5 phases. Jyotirmayi, would you mind to voice out what are the 5 phases of SDLC? Can you please tell me?
Okay, sir. Test planning, test analysis and design, test execution and result analysis, bug life cycle, tracking, test summary report.
Very good. Tejasvi?
Yes, sir. Test planning, test analysis and design, test execution and result analysis, bug tracking, test summary reports.
Perfect. Farinisa?
Sir, test planning, test analysis and design, test execution and result analysis, bug tracking, test summary reports.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So if you're sleeping also, if I wake up saying that Farinisa, can you please let me know what is SDLC? You need to say all these 5 steps. That is very, very important because we are going ahead as a ST testers or a QA resources. Okay, very important. Please be on top of it. And as said, test planning. What is this? As said, the purpose of the test plan is defining the scope, approach, resources, and schedule. Very important. Schedule also. Why? Because what is the timeline required for this particular testing? So all those things should be defined in the test planning phase. And what need to be tested? Like what are the features that need to be tested? What is out of scope? What is the risk item? Let's take an example here. one organization, they said like, I will release my latest version in December. We don't know when it is in the December. So you need to identify and you need to convey that. I'm writing the test cases, but what if the organization didn't release the version, then my test cases are not valid. What if I have a dependency with some other developer, if he didn't fix the issue, then there is an risk item. So all those things you have to mention in the test plan documentation. Why we need test plan? This is also another important. Why we need? Because the other person outside of the testing people also should understand what is the testing. See, test plan helps people outside the testing group understand the why and how the production validation is happening. And when do we do testing planning? We'll do test planning at the early stages of product life cycle. The product life cycle, that means at the beginning stage, beginning step. As a beginning step, we'll write the test planning document. Okay, so again, let me voice out this again. The purpose of the test plan is defining the scope, approach, resources, schedule of the testing activities. What is the scope of the testing? What is an approach? I mean to say, what are the types of the testing that we need to follow? How many resources are required? Schedule means how many days it will take. Let's say it may take another 1 month or 2 months. In 1 month, I'll complete system testing. In 2 days, I'll complete regression testing. In the next 3 days, I'll complete performance like that. The breakup of each and every testing schedule has been mentioned in the test plan document. Again, this is a Word document or a PDF document which specifies about scope, approach, resources, and scheduling of the testing activities. What is this? Here, to identify the items, features being tested, what we need to test as in the test conditions. What are we going to test? We are going to test these things. So we need to identify them, and also we need to identify the risk items. What if they haven't delivered? So I'll show you one example. Risk item means here, I'll let you know one example. Probably it's in my mind. Let's say we are trying to we are trying to work on Greenplum driver. There is a driver called Greenplum, and the database is there. In the database, latest version. They promised us, here it is, latest version is 6.0. But they promised and they have released a press note saying that they will release the pivotal 6.0. They'll release the 7.0 in April. You can see here. Yeah, you can see 7 release date. Based on 7 release date, they said like April or May they'll release it. Based on that, they'll convey the everyone in the team saying that please be ready with the 7.0 by April. So we need to start working on it. So what is the risk item? What if they haven't delivered by April? What is the purpose and what is the circumstances that we need to face as a risk item? And another thing is there is a dependency with other team. They need to complete the development. What if they haven't deployed by sprint 2 or sprint 3? We cannot proceed further. Who will take the responsibility? Let's take Parinisa, can you please take the responsibility of this risk item? Yes. What is the risk item? Development team has to deliver this project by end of this year. So Parinisa will go and follow up with the development team and ask them to deliver by end of this year. If there is anything happen or any changes, she should intimate the team saying that there is a slightly change in the timeline and you should raise the flag upfront. What is the risk items of this testing? Right. Why we do test plan? Very important. Why? Because test plan is one of the reference document. Again, I'm calling that word team reference document for the teams or for the members outside of the organizations also. Like outside the testing also. Like any project manager or someone from the UAT team or someone from the business analyst have to understand what the testing team is going to do. Like what is their approach, what is their plan, what is their scope, and all those things they have to understand by looking at this particular documentation. So this documentation is very readable and understandable by the non-testing folks also. Okay, And when do we do this test plan? Yes, we'll do this test plan in the early stages of the life cycle. That means at the beginning of the testing, you need to write the test plan document. Okay, hope you understand this page. Let's move on to test strategy and test approach. Both are same. Like, what is the process that you're following? What is the strategy that you have put it? This is not that much important, but both are same. Very important. Test analysis and design. Very, very important. The first thing is review the document. Where are you getting the requirements? You are getting the requirements from the SRS. As said, SRS is nothing but System Requirement Specification. It will be written by the project manager or a business analyst or a system analyst. So those folks will write this documentation. What is this document consists of? This document consists of business requirements from the client. So what client is expecting? Client is expecting to do this one, like requirement number 1, requirement number 2, requirement number 3. Like this, they will mention some requirements. All those things will be written and specified in the document called SRS. So SRS is nothing but System Requirement Specification document, which we are trying to review it in order to identify what need to be tested. And second thing is identify the test conditions. Very important. As you have already done, what are the test conditions that are required in order to test this particular project? So I have the project ready. So for this project, what are the test cases required? What are the test conditions, first of all? As said in the example, Google logo, and there is a search button, Gmail, images, there is a Google offered in different languages, Hindi, Telugu, English, whatnot, everything. So all those things are test conditions. Yes, you can write the test cases based on the test conditions. As said in the example, Google logo. For this Google logo, you have to write multiple test cases. For the Google logo is a test condition or test scenario. Based on the test condition or test scenario, see designing test cases. You have to write the test cases. Like I want to test capital G in the Google logo or not. And there is another G which is in small letters, and it should be in the blue color. Okay, next thing is identify necessary test data. What is the test data? In order to test the Google logo, I need to have GOOGLE in the same words. It's not be jumbled. GOOGLE. It's not correct. So spelling should be Google only. So what is the test data that is required? As an English, designing the test environment setup. Yes, we have to get ready with the test environment, like preconditions. What are the conditions that are required in order to test this particular scenario? What is the prerequisites in order to test this particular scenario is also very important. That we call it as test environment setup. The last and very important thing is traceability matrix. That means RTM. Creating traceability between requirements and the test cases. That is called as RTM. Requirement Traceability Matrix, which says about whether we have written the test cases for each requirement or not. That we can identify only by RTM. Yes, there is an important question in the interviews. You may ask about what is RTM. We can say that yes, RTM is a Excel sheet document where we will find out whether we have written the test cases for each and every each and every requirement or not. That's important. Okay. Hope you understand. Any questions? I'm just pausing here.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, can you please repeat the test environment setup, sir?
Yeah, test environment setup is nothing but a prerequisites. What is required in order to test this particular condition? As said in the example, in order to test the Google web page or this particular page, what are the prerequisites? I need to be ready with my internet connection, or a URL should work out. First of all, google.com URL should be worked. Okay, that's my first condition. Second condition, internet should be available. I need to open the browser. What is the browser that is supported? Whether I'm using Chrome browser or a different browser, or I'm using Opera browser, what it is, what not. So based on the different requirements, I mean to say prerequisites in order to test a condition is called as test environment setup. Environment means like our conditions. What is the preconditions? See, in order to go to office, what is the preconditions? What is the environment setup? You need to be get ready, have a lunch box. Okay, be prepared. Whether you have a what we call laptop ready with you or not, whether your bike is ready or not, you have the whether the pass is available. If not, you have the bus pass available. So these things are prerequisites in order to go to your office. In order to work on something, see, in order to work on some, you want to prepare some curry. In order to prepare some curry, what is your prerequisite? I want to be available with salt. Like what is that again? Mirchi salt, mirchi, and all those things like onion, everything has to be ready in order to prepare one curry. That means what are the prerequisites in order to test a particular condition or a test case is called as test environment setup. We have to be ready with. So what about the real-time scenario, sir? Yes, for the real-time also, in order to test this particular scenario, I want to be get ready with the test like source code ready by the developer. So developer has to give the source code in order to test this particular scenario. Or I can say like the 7.1, like I have shown you available here. Like 7.0 green plum pivotal driver has to be available before I test it. They can say like, yeah, the beta version is available, let's try it. No, no, no. I want 7.0 actual version has to be available in order to test my scenario. Perfect. When it is available, it will be available in April or May. By the time I need to wait it. So all those prerequisites, again I'm calling that word, prerequisites or comes under test environment setup. Okay, hope you understand that pointing.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Any other questions, please? Yes, please.
Can you explain this identified necessary test that actually I got disconnected?
Identifying test conditions.
Test data.
Test data. Okay, okay. Test data means, yeah. See, here in this logo, the test data is, if I want to test the logo, first logo means the test data is GOOGLE is my test data. Second one is, if I want to test a G in the Google logo, my test data is capital G and small g. If I want to test OO in my logo, my test data is O in red color and yellow color. Okay, test data means, let me show you so that it will be more understandable. Okay, what should yeah, you can see here test logo. See how exactly she has written test condition, test case. Now we can see here Google logo, capital G should be here and small o's should be here. This is test data. Like what exactly your inputs, to test a test condition or test case is called as test data. We're getting my point?
Yes, sir. Good.
Let me show you another example. Yeah, you can see here the logo, Facebook logo, URL. What is the URL? www.facebook.com. That is your URL. So this is your test data. You're trying to check the logo. So logo is Facebook. This is your test data. See, as said, static words. What is the static words? This is your test data. Button, login, hyperlink, create page, create new account. It's in the green color. Forgot a password is a hyperlink. So test data is this. Got me pointing? No.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
while writing, you'll be able to more understand what is test data and other stuff. I'll let you know probably in a day or two. I'll ask you to write the test cases. Don't worry. Then you will be more understandable. What are we writing here? Okay. Perfect. Good question. Anything else, team?
Sir, can you explain that last one? Creating traceability between requirement and test cases.
Yeah, this is called RTM, Requirement Traceability Matrix. Here, what we are trying to do, as I showed you in the examples, the slides also, the main intention of this RTM is checking whether we have written the test cases for each and every requirement or not. See, if we have two requirements, it's easy to find out. See, let's say you have a class. If you have in a class, if you have 5 students, it's easy to recognize whether every student is coming in or not. Is that right? If you have a students of 60 people, you cannot understand who is coming to school every day. How can you recognize? You will give a roll number and take the attendance accordingly. You'll say that roll number 1, roll number 2, roll number 3, so that you will be know, okay, roll number 6 is absent, roll number 8 is absent. Like that, you will be able to count it. But if you have small amount of requirements, it is easy to say that whether you have written the test cases for each and every requirement or not. But if you have the maximum number of requirements, more requirements, let's take in this example, we have 10 requirements. Out of the 10 requirements, whether you have written the test cases or not, can be identified by using this traceability matrix. Here, you can take the Excel sheet where you can write everything like requirement number 1 to 10 and requirement test case number 1 to 10. See, in this example, in this picture, you can see test case number 6. You have written the test case number 6, but which is not at all related to any of the requirement. So no requirement is associated with this. You have written the test case, but it's not relevant to your project. What you will do? You will remove the test case. Very good. And the next thing is, you have the requirement number 3, but there is no test case written for that. Now, your first motto is write the test case for that. And second thing, you can see that requirement number 5. I didn't write anything. I didn't write any test case for it. You haven't identified any test case for this. Yeah, please write a test case for requirement number 5 so that you will not miss of testing any requirements from the project. Let's take your project has 10 requirements. Whether you are testing all the requirements or not. Yes, it is important. How can you identify whether you have written the test cases for each and every requirement? Yeah, I can identify using the requirement traceability matrix. Yeah, this is how it is. Got it?
Got it, sir.
Perfect. I'm really happy. Any other questions, team? Jyotirmayi, Tejasvi, and Parinisa.
No, sir.
Yeah, I'm really happy the way that you're asking questions. See, I'm really happy if you ask me the questions. If you want me to explain 10 times also, I'm here to explain you if you didn't understand. But if you sit idle, I may feel like you're already completely understood and I can close the things, but that won't be the scenario. So please feel free to stop me, or if not stopping, definitely I'll give a moment to ask you any questions. So please feel free to ask me any questions if you find in any session that we are calling out. Okay, I'm really happy. Thanks a lot for you again for asking some questions so that it is easy for other persons also to understand if they have any minor things about this, if they have any minor questions about any of the scenario. Probably it's a good thing, good session, I think. Very good thing that you have asked me the questions. Hope you understand about these two things, the two phases of SDLC now. Tomorrow, we'll discuss about these other three phases like test execution and result analysis, bug life cycle, and test summary report. Again, it will take another 1.5 hours minimum to explain these three things. So please feel free to join the same tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Will it be fine, team, or do you want me to take 8 to 9:30 only?
It's okay at 7 also, sir.
Yeah, any concerns, team, Parnisa or Tejasmi or Jyotirmay?
No, sir.
7 is
7.
fine.
7 is
7
fine,
fine.
right? Perfect.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much. Yeah, very good, very good. Please join at 7 o'clock. So tomorrow, anyway, Friday, right? I said US team is going for a vacation, so I won't be having much work, but only some CVP that I need to write down. So those things I'll take care of it, and we'll be there at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, 7 to 8:30 we'll meet and we'll discuss about other three phases of SDLC, like STLC, like software testing lifecycle, test execution and result analysis, bug lifecycle, and test summary report. For you, tomorrow's homework is identify test conditions. Just write the test conditions. For google.com, let me write down here. www.google.com and www.facebook.com. Okay, just identify and write down just the test conditions. I'll show you how exactly she has been written in the last sessions. Just the test conditions. Like I can see Google logo is one test condition. Search bar, another test condition. And you can see Gmail, hyperlink, image hyperlink. And you can see some Google apps and something like here. You can see a Google account. And you can see something like search by voice, search by image. So write down, just list out what are the test conditions of this particular web page. The same way, identify the test conditions for Facebook. Are you with me, team?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
tomorrow, just send me a note. Parinisa, please feel free to send me a homework before the session. I really appreciate the way Jyotirmay and other folks sending. I can see Ajit yesterday's homework it is. Yeah. Yeah, Tejasvi, thanks a lot. I can see the data flow diagram the same way Jyotirmay also. So Parinisa, will you be able to send tomorrow?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, yeah. Please feel free. Just send me a list of test conditions which you identify using google.com and facebook.com. It's not an examination team. Feel free to come up with your answers like the whatever you are writing it. We will discuss again. If there is anything missing, we'll discuss and correct it. Don't worry. Okay, we are here to learn something.
Okay, sir. Excuse
Okay,
me, sir.
Yeah, okay, sir.
yes, please.
Sir, you told you will send recording videos.
Coding videos, sir.
Your daily class videos.
Oh, Delica's recordings. Okay, okay, okay.
Yes,
Sorry.
sir.
Yeah, I'll check with these folks. Yes, said I was not there for the past 5 days, right? I didn't get a chance, but I had a word with him saying that I need a recordings for each and every session. They said they'll come back to us, but definitely I'll check again to give the recordings. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Please
sir.
Thank you,
bear
sir.
with me because of getting this discrepancy between the sessions. I didn't get a chance to follow up with them, but tomorrow I'll follow up with them and give you the things. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we'll meet you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day. Take care. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Bye bye.
Bye.